Hello and welcome back to another episode of Hidden Video Game Details, the series where we take a look at some of the cooler things that you may have missed when playing your favourite games, with the only rule being they cannot have been featured on my channel before. In today's video, we discover that violence isn't always the answer in Cuphead, we make friends with a very handsome skeleton in Undertale, and we watch people eat in Red Dead Redemption 2. As always, if you think you know of a detail that I'm yet to cover, then the best place to let me know is in the comments section or on my social media accounts. The links, as always, are in the description. Oh, and if you do go on to enjoy this video, then leaving a like, subscribing, or turning notifications on is really appreciated. Oh, and if I've planned this correctly, this video should be uploaded a day before my new merch goes live. You can head to captaineggcellent.com now, the link is in the description, to make sure that you're notified the moment it drops. If you do manage to grab something from the line, then make sure you send me a picture on Instagram or Twitter of you wearing the merch, and I'll feature you in a future video. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. So first up, let's take a look at more fourth wall breaking dialogue in Call of Duty Zombies. In episode 27 of this series, we discovered that Dempsey would often break the fourth wall when performing certain actions. Well, as usual, you guys pointed out some more examples of Dempsey, well, being Dempsey. Here are some of my favourites from Black Ops 3.
Hey, player! Drop the chips and get me some ammo! Hey, Treyarch, can we get a new objective, please? I need some ammo. How about you, player? I thought we'd have a new objective by now. But no! You guys just never give the community what they want!
Also, whilst we're on the topic of Dempsey, on the classified map in Black Ops 4, you can hear Dempsey say this.
I think I know what to do. Yeah, you're not gonna believe this, folks. We have to turn on the power!
So that was of course a dig at the fact that every Zombies map requires the player to turn the power on. Fourth wall breaks are some of my favourite things in video games, so if you know of any more in Call of Duty or any other game for that matter, then please let me know. Speaking of games that break the fourth wall, let's take a quick look at the excellent Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. The Metal Gear Solid series has always had a keen eye for detail. And even though MGS2 is fast approaching its 21st birthday, it more than holds its own when compared to newer entries in the series when it comes to details. Now, one of my favourite video game details of all time comes from Halo ODST. Bear with me, we'll get back to Metal Gear Solid 2 in a second. During the NMPD HQ mission, if you were to watch the cutscene at the start of the mission, you'd begin the mission with one bullet in your sniper rifle, as 3 bullets were fired in the cutscene. Well, it turns out that Metal Gear Solid 2 does the same thing. At the beginning of the tanker chapter, if you watch the cutscene where Snake fires his tranquilizer gun at the light, you will begin with 1 bullet missing from your magazine. However, if you skip the cutscene, the gun wouldn't have been fired, meaning that you still keep the bullet. It's a really nice touch. Now, some of the most fun you can have in any Metal Gear Solid game can be had when toying with enemy soldiers. They're just the right mixture of smart and stupid. Well, one of the funniest things you can do to enemy soldiers is this.
Freeze. Who is that?
So you can shoot out a guard's radio, causing it to fail, meaning that he can't call in backup. You can then shoot his arm and leg, meaning he has to make the slowest and most undignified getaway ever. Finally, and this is something I only realised when recording footage for this video, but if you die in first person, this will happen. So the screen sort of cracks like glass. I mean, it's not mind-blowing by any means, it's just pretty cool. Up next is the brilliant Cuphead. Releasing in 2017, Cuphead is a run and gunner developed by studio MDHR. Known for its difficulty and breathtaking art style, Cuphead released to universal acclaim. and rightfully so. It's one of the most rewarding games of its kind. The first detail of interest from Cuphead can be seen when visiting the in-game shop. Upgrading your abilities is key to getting ahead in Cuphead, and in order to do that, you need to visit the aforementioned shop. The shop is run by Porkrind, an eye patch wearing pig, but it turns out that Porkrind doesn't like being kept waiting. So if you hang around long enough, Porkrind will become annoyed and start to check his watch. Now, as mentioned, Cuphead is a run and gunner, which means you'll be doing a lot of running and a whole lot of gunning. This can sometimes lead to you shooting first and asking questions later. Well, during the Botanic Panic boss fight, you'll have to take down Sal Spudder, a murderous potato. After dealing with Sal, Ollie Bulb the Onion will appear. However, if you don't shoot at Ollie, this will happen. So it turns out that poor old Ollie didn't mean any harm, and if you didn't shoot at him, he would leave without attacking, making this boss fight a little bit easier. Up next is the brilliant Undertale. Undertale is a 2D RPG created by Toby Fox, where you play as a child who has fallen into the underground, an area under the surface of the earth that is separated by a magic barrier. It's a game that is full of charm and humour, as demonstrated by this next detail. During your quest, you will come across a skeleton called Papyrus. Papyrus is the brother of Ciri's favourite Sans, and his main goal is to capture a human, something which he is able to do after defeating you in battle. Papyrus puts you in his garage but forgets to lock the door, allowing you to make your escape. Eventually, he will give up on trying to keep you prisoner and let you go free, and if you flirted with him during battle, even suggests that the two of you date. If you take Papyrus up on his offer, you'll be taken to this screen. As you can see, for a skeleton, Papyrus is a handsome chap. So handsome in fact that I somehow managed to disconnect my controller. So disconnecting your controller during your date with Papyrus will cause this funny message to appear. I'd love to cover more Undertale on this channel, so if you know of any other cool details like this, then please let me know. So as is now a series tradition, let's end today's video with a Rockstar game. This time it's Red Dead Redemption 2. The first detail that I wanted to draw your attention to is how people eat. Let me explain. Now, in a game about being an outlaw in the Wild West, eating is probably one of the least important things to get right. But this is a Rockstar game after all, and they don't take shortcuts. I mean, look at how people eat in this game.
Yeah, okay. The longer you play, the more people aim for keys.
What does a dried up old hag have to do to get...
I'm not one to gossip, but I hear Grover's been
This
sleeping next to
town
the pig.
is so bloody
Naturally.
boring. Boring. All of you.
This is incredibly impressive. Compare it to the eating animations in, say, Cyberpunk 2077, and the difference is night and day. The final detail from Red Dead 2 can be found at the gang's camp, and is the perfect example of world building. Now, among the many misfits that are part of Dutch's gang is Reverend Swanson. Swanson was once a respectable member of the clergy before abusing alcohol and drugs, leading to him losing his job, his family, and ultimately his faith. Still, Swanson does like to pretend that he is still a man of God, as demonstrated by his Bible that can be found at the gang's camp. Well, for those of you who have had a look at Swanson's Bible, you'll know that it's merely a hiding place for his syringe, tourniquet, and morphine. It's an excellent way to demonstrate just how far Swanson has fallen that he's willing to hollow out a Bible to satisfy one of his vices. So that's it. As mentioned, if you know of any Easter eggs, secrets, or details that I'm yet to cover, then the best places to let me know are in the comments section or on my social media accounts, the links to which are in the description. Remember, if you are a fan of Easter eggs, secrets, and tiny details in games, then perhaps consider subscribing, as that's what this channel is all about. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.